Welcome to Influencers, a show that brings you the people that impact our community, our city, and our state. Today we're honored to have one of our founding members of the Latin Chamber of Commerce, Otto Merida. Otto, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here, especially with you.
Thank you, Otto. Otto, we like to ask a question, the same question to everybody. Besides being in this studio right now, where else would you want to be right now?
No, I would like to be right here. I think first, for me, is a sense of pride to be able to come here and see the growth of the organization in the last couple of years. I think, like I mentioned to you many times, one of my concerns through the years have been what happens after I leave. Because one of the things people will say, you are the Chamber of Commerce. And even though people, I thought that was something that I cared or wanted, I was concerned about that because that means that if I leave, what happens? And we were very lucky to be able to find you, to talk to you, to convince you to come to the chamber and to become the executive director, a person that was very successful already in private practice. And I think we did great. I think we have a lottery and won. We won the lottery.
Oh, no. We're going to get a little more to that. But I want to start with the journey, Cuba to Las Vegas. Tell me about that journey.
The journey was one that even though, I didn't realize what I was doing at that time. It was the only thing, when I left Cuba, I came as part of the Peter Pan. Peter Pan was a program that sent around 14,000 Cuban kids underage to the United States. So I went to Miami. I left Cuba in the 21st of August, 1961. At that time I said to myself, this must be big, because I was at the airport in Cuba, and then I saw my mother crying through the glass.
Wow!
And I'm saying, I think this is something that is very dramatic for my mother and my father and my mother.
How old were you?
I was 14 years old.
Wow!
And one of the things that I remember is my mother crying, and I'm saying to myself, and then one of the things I remember, my mother would say to me, listen, I hope to see you soon, but this might be something that I will never see you again. So you have to realize that, let's see, that might happen, okay? So I left on that date, the 21st of August, 61.
Wow. That must have been an emotional day.
It was tough. It was difficult. But then you are very young, and then you get there. You get to I get to Miami, and I remember because my mother told me, listen, so I want you to remember the address in Cuba. Okay, so I did. That's why I remember the address in Cuba since forever. So, and I said, if you happen to get to Miami and nobody is there waiting for you, you tell the pilot to to bring you back. So it was funny, but
that's amazing.
That's a true story.
That's amazing. So let me ask you, who had the most impact on you early on?
Well, I think Father Walsh, which was the guy that in charge of the
Father Walsh.
Walsh, that was in charge of the of all the Cuban kids coming into Miami at that time. And then he was a strong individual, very much concerned about what was going to happen with the Cubans and the Cuban kids.
So Father Walsh was the impact early on.
Yes.
More with Otto Merida in a moment.
Psst, psst, smile at the chamber. Psst, psst. Yes, you. Smile at the chamber. Psst, psst. You too. Smile at the chamber. The chamber that smiles back to you.
Welcome to the Latin Chamber of Commerce.
Sign up for the Latin Chamber of Commerce, where you will find business advisory, financial support, scholarships, new friends, and much more. With us by your side, you will be able to start a new business or make your company flourish. Join our thousands of members and drive your business to success today. Call us at 702-385-7367 and visit us, the Latin Chamber of Commerce, the only chamber that will always smile back to you.
Back to influencers. So Otto, or Otto, What do you prefer, Otto or
Otto, but people call me Otto, Uru.
The LCC chamber?
Yes.
How did you get into the LCC?
I was involved when I got into this community. I was involved with the Cuban Circle, and the Cuban Circle were all the people that were old timers that have been here for a number of years now, including among them was Arturo Cambeiro, which was an architect. We used to have monthly meetings, and I was part of the board of directors of the Cuban Circle. And Lillian Lujan, which was at that time was one of the first supervisors in the welfare department, appointed by Michael Callahan, which was a governor. And then what happened is that we were talking at one time, and one of the things that Arturo told me is, we should organize a chamber of commerce, because I think we need to have something that will be commerce related and at the same time be able to influence the social and political arena in this community. Wow. So that was always have been always our mission, continues to be our mission, and I think it's something that myself and Arturo were involved very much, and then Michael Callahan, which was the governor at that time, helped us form the Latin Chamber of Commerce.
And how did you rise up the ranks? How did you rise up the ranks to become the leader?
Well, at that time, it's like anybody wants to be the director or the president.
Right.
Nobody wanted to have that responsibility. So that's how I became a leader. But one of the things that, I wanted to, especially if this is something that, for the record, I think I want to really recognize Michael Callahan, the governor. The governor was a very great factor in terms of being able to form the Latin Chamber of Commerce. As a matter of fact, the Latin Chamber of Commerce was going to, originally, we were calling it the Latin Chamber of Commerce of the Círculo Cubano de Las Vegas. That is the original name. And he saw what we did and said, Otto, he called me and he said, no, I think you need to make it for all Hispanics, because if not, I think that will create divisions and you won't be able to have progress. And that's what we did. So we changed the bylaws and the incorporation of the chamber.
And I know you thought highly of Michael Callahan, that's for sure.
Michael Callahan was a great man, a great governor, and I think it helps tremendously the Hispanic community in Southern Nevada.
Excellent. More with influencers in a moment. Welcome back to Influencers. The Senior Center, very important senior center. I know how important it is to you, and I know how important it is to this chamber. You seem to have a real love for that senior center. Tell us why.
Why? Because I know when it was built, originally it was built for the LULAC, which was an organization here that after a while disappeared. And then NALA, which was also the oldest Hispanic organization at that time here, was actually running. Then they started running the senior center. At that time, it was a nutritional program basically. And what happened that NALA ran out of monies, and one day they went to the senior and said, "We are closing this tomorrow." And then I had a number of seniors that came to see me and said, "Listen, we cannot allow this to happen, Otto. We need this. We depend on these luncheons that we get and so forth." So at the time that was happening, people from the city council in Las Vegas called me up and we had a meeting, and they said, "Can you take care of this and run this place?" And so I said, "Yes, but I think we need to have some seed monies." And basically said, "Well, I'll leave it up to you." So I went to the MGM, and I went to see this lady that was that used to work for the MGM. What's her name? Well, anyway, I said, "Listen, I need $15,000. The reason I need $15,000 is because that would allow us to get some seed money until we get some money from the state, to run this place." So she gave us the $15,000. As a matter of fact, MGM gave it to us like from one day to the other. Almost,
Wow.
they actually wrote up the check the next day almost, and that's how we took over the senior center. And of course, after then, I changed the name.
And I think we're going to get into that.
Okay.
We're definitely going to get into that. But I also want to say that, you know, I also have a love for that senior center now. And a lot of the reason why, not only because I love seniors, but a lot of people don't know, you and I went on a little journey for 2.5 years to keep that place open, to work out a deal with the housing. And
Yes.
I was honored to stand with you and make sure that we didn't lose that. And today it's a great facility.
I think we are very much care about this program. Now we have, not only do we have a senior center that cares about nutrition, but also we have a number of programs within the senior center, and only is for seniors, but we also have for mentally handicapped.
That's
So
right.
half of then we obtained a grant that extended another 12,500 square feet of the senior, and then we actually have two programs, one for the mentally handicapped and for the seniors.
Yeah.
And they have been very successful.
So I know you wanted to touch on this. I'm curious, how did the name and why did you name it Arturo Cambero?
Well, I don't know if people are aware that I was for 12 years, I was a member of the Housing Authority, the board of directors and commission of the Housing Authority. So at that time, I was able to, I thought that we need to change the name of the center, so I was able to obtain the support of the commissioners to be able to get to name it Arturo Cambero. Arturo Cambero was the first chairman of the Latin Chamber of Commerce, the one that was a co-founder with me of the chamber, so I thought it was appropriate to go ahead and name him after that. So have something that will be permanent and that people could drive by and will see the Arturo Cambero Senior Center. So that's what I did.
It's excellent. We'll be back with more influencers with Otto Merida in a moment. Welcome back. We're here with Otto Merida talking about the Hispanic community. Otto, I know you started this a long time ago. I'm sure it was very different then. But how important is the Hispanic community to the success of our community?
I think we are at the crossroad. I think it's important. The Hispanic community is very, you could see it now, very slowly now, what we have been able to do for many years. And I think we are a center, the backbone, you could say, of this community. I think politicians and individuals have to count on us in order to be able to be effective in this community. The only thing that we need now a little bit is to be able to be much more effective in terms of getting people elected. We have been able to help elect a number of people in the legislature, and I think that will be bigger and bigger as time goes on. I think we need to place individuals in the city council and the county commissioner, but the Hispanic community, the growth of the Hispanic community have been tremendously in the last few years, and people have to realize, and people know that without us, this will be a much different community, and it will not be the economic empowerment that we have in terms of what's going on, in terms of strength, economic strength, and so forth.
And I agree with most of all that you said. That's amazing. You know, the thing now is we're talking a lot about dreamers.
Yeah.
And I think it's a nightmare. I think the word is dreamers, but it's actually a nightmare that any person has to worry about being thrown out of this country after making no mistakes, getting educated. Because you didn't have to deal with dreamers before, but now we have dreamers.
No, I think it's something that the government committed to be able to get these individuals that came from to this country with the parents that were parents that were underage. We allowed these individuals to come in. The parents in many instances were undocumented. Many of them came, when they were 2, 3, 4 years, 10 years. We allowed them to remain here. Many of them we are very proud of, because we actually, many of them finished high school, finished college, finished the university, have degrees. Now we had spent all this money to help them and to be able to realize their dreams, and it's totally insane to be able to go ahead and send them back to their countries when we we have these individuals that can contribute tremendously to this community and this country. So I think we are all in support of. First, I was very much in support of what Trump did, which they say, listen, the Congress have this responsibility to make this program permanently. So now we have until the end of March to make it permanently, and I think it will going to happen. I think, as a matter of fact, I just came from Hermandad Mexicana, and I had a meeting with a few of them out there, and that concern, of course, because I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, are you going to send me back to Mexico? Are you going to send me back to Venezuela? Send me back to Iran? So I mean,
so it sounds like you and I are probably in agreement. Not only is it not the compassionate thing to do, but it doesn't even make economic sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. I think we have already invested quite a bit of. I mean, if you're looking for just from the point of view of what makes sense and our investment that we put into these individuals, I mean, it doesn't make sense for us to return it. They are now ready to be able to contribute tremendously to this community, and I think we should be very proud of what they have done and what they will do for this country eventually.
I agree. We'll be back after a short commercial break. We're back with Influencers, our last segment with Otto Merida, one of the founding members of the Latin Chamber of Commerce. Otto, do you like the direction the LCC is going?
I think we are, for example, I think when we went ahead and I left and we appoint you as the new director, I think we have exceeded, I thought that we would move forward, but I think we have done tremendously in the last 2 years, I think, like I mentioned, it was a dream of ours to be able to consolidate and to have a chamber, but I wanted to have a stronger chamber. I wanted to be able to say, they don't need me at all. This is something that now has a good board of directors, and they have a good president, and I think it's one that is moving forward and that is contributing to the Southern Nevada community and especially the Hispanic community. It's something that we could be very proud of what we're doing or we have done, and I think by your performance is all that I care. It's something that we have to be proud of. Yes.
And sitting in the LCC CenturyLink studio, we talked about it, and here we are.
I think this is very important. If we can use this link of this center, I'll be able to have individuals that could use it to be able to tell the contractors of what they're doing. For example, what are the things that I can do in terms of my contract, in terms of businesses and so forth, and be able to show that, and to be able to send that to all our members and people in the community and contractors and so forth, and be able to get the work like programs like this where you can show individuals that have contributed to this community.
It's a tool.
It's a very effective instrument by which we can move ahead of what other chambers, like I think you mentioned, there's no other Latin chamber or any chamber around the country that have this type of program.
Its own studio.
Yes, yes, studio, yes.
Otto, what is your legacy? What do you want to be your legacy?
My legacy is that I can, I think I mentioned some of that. I think if I can look around, maybe right now, I'm growing in years, so hopefully people will remember me as one that was one of the
pioneers.
One of the pioneers, like with other individuals, we have also, you have to realize that we had a lot of individuals that contribute to this chamber that were in the board of directors, that have gone now, unfortunately, but that we have to recognize, and perhaps one of these days we could put it in, recognize it, much better than what we have done. But I think it's important that people will think of me as one of many that gave a little bit of himself and this community for the betterment of the Hispanic community. So I think that's what I want. People will say, Otto did his job, and I think we are thankful that he was able to do this.
Otto, you're being very humble, and I appreciate that, but I want you to know that your legacy is the Latin Chamber of Commerce. There are communities named after you. A lot of people don't know that. There's a street named after you and a community named after you. Why? Because you are a pioneer. And the Latin Chamber of Commerce is your legacy. And it's an honor for me to be president after you. And I can tell you this, what motivates me is making you proud. That truly is what motivates me at this chamber. I want to thank Otto Merida for being with me today. And I hope you have enjoyed this show, this episode of Influencers. Until the next time, stay positive and stay inspired. Thank you.